I hate when I have to say this video, but I have to do it. This is pancreatitis versus appendicitis. This is two entirely different conditions, but they have similarity. They're both inflammation and very dangerous conditions. Pancreatitis, on the other hand, can also be caused by pancreatic cancer. Appendicitis is when there's a big swelling of the appendix. The appendix is actually infected. So they're both kind of inflamed / infected, but for pancreatitis it's a little bit different. Today we'll be looking at which is more dangerous. So we'll be comparing pancreatitis to appendicitis and seeing which is dangerous. For me, I think appendicitis, because a lot of people can have pancreatitis, and although it's very dangerous, very worrisome symptoms, appendicitis tends to be a little bit more severe, with a little bit more worse of pain, and can actually be very dangerous and actually lead to surgery. Pancreatitis, on the other hand, well, it's a little bit nifty. Let's begin, everybody. Pancreatitis. There's an inflammation of the pancreas. So, like I said, inflammation of the pancreas. So, a pancreatitis. The gallbladder right here, you can see there's like a little bit of like stones here. You can see the pancreas, the inflamed here. You see it's red. That red part of the inflamed pancreas means that you have pancreatitis because there's an inflammation in the pancreas. This picture shows exactly what pancreatitis looks like. That's an inflamed pancreas. Normal pancreas looks like this. Right here on the picture, that orange part right there on the picture, that nice smooth orange right there is what it's supposed to look like. Orange. Here you can see it's a little bit swelled up and inflamed, so you can kind of see the difference between a healthy and not healthy version. So pancreatitis symptoms. So pain in the abdominal area that radiates to the back, nausea and vomiting, fever and chills, tender and swollen abdomen, diarrhea, fat and stool, indigestion, signs and symptoms of malnutrition. Because again, when you have this, you don't really get enough, nutrition, because it doesn't really let you do that. Because again, it could, cause, if you're vomiting and all of that, every time you eat, you're not getting the nutrients you need from that food, because all those nutrients, unfortunately, are actually coming out of your mouth in a way. So, pancreatitis complications will be pancreatic cancer, like I said, malnutrition, kidney damage, and pancreatic infection. Yeah, pancreatic infection and diabetes. Somehow diabetes fits itself into a complications, and pancreatic infection also, because again, the pancreas is the main part of a pancreatitis. And in pancreatic infection, it's the next stage of it all. Again, inflammation's a bit different. It's just inflamed, like how gastritis is for the inflammation of the stomach lining. But infection of the stomach lining is the next stage of an inflammation. So a stomach infection would be the next stage of an inflammation. So pancreatitis would actually be the first stage of a pancreatic infection. It will also bring kidney damage, as it can go over to the kidney. So again, pancreatitis can actually lead to sepsis. All of these conditions, no matter if it's inflamed, if it's diseases, inflammations, bacterial infections, they all will actually have a way of leading back to something known as sepsis. So, kidney damage, malnutrition, and pancreatic cancer, because with that, you can end up getting some really bad things in your pancreatic that leads to pancreatic cancer. Pancreatitis death rate. The death rate is about 5% or less. So the death rate of actually dying from this is less than 10%. So if you're trying to worry about this disease, it's not going to happen, because the death rate is about 5% or less. So again, it's about 5. That doesn't mean exactly that it is 5. It could mean a little bit over 5. But again, it says about 5. So maybe like 4.5, like 4.50%, 4.75%, somewhere around there, or it could be less. So the death rate for this is very low, even for untreated. I'm pretty sure that's what this means. Now, untreated, it's going to probably be 100% fatal, because every disease is 100% fatal, except for a common cold. The flu is, well, a whole entirely thing. Like the cold, saying the flu is actually way better than a cold, it's not as bad, you're crazy. But the death rate is about 5% or less. So, pancreatic causes. This includes gallstones, alcoholism, infection, medication, and trauma. So if you drink a lot of alcohol, you don't even get to worry about this. You got to worry about kidney infections, kidney diseases, pancreatic infections, appendicitis problems, and even liver problems that can actually lead to your liver dying. Moving on, appendicitis. What is it? It's an inflammation of the appendix. Appendicitis symptoms: nausea, vomiting, fever, tachycardia, and foul breath. Constipation is a common feature, but diarrhea may occur in some cases. Frequent urination. Inflamed appendix may come in contact with the urinary bladder and cause irritation and frequent urinating. So it can actually quite big expand so much that it reaches to your kidneys. And on top of that, it can cause constipation. But in many people, and some people, it can actually lead to diarrhea. Nausea, vomiting, fever, and tachycardia. So tachycardia is one of those that we did not mention for pancreatic symptoms. You can see it never once mentioned about having a fast heart rate. So that's a big difference that you need to take a look at. If you have a fast heart rate, you most likely, with all these other symptoms, will lead to appendicitis. Many of the other ones on here are kind of symptoms that will kind of come in contact with the pancreas. But like I said, that's what I'm talking about. So appendicitis occurs when the opening of the appendix is blocked or due to infection. Causes include an obstruction of appendix by fecal matter, foreign body, roundworm or threadworm infection. A viral infection. Infection of bacteria such as the E. coli, Enterococcus, Streptococcus, or the Trostotum. Family history: 30% of appendicitis in children have a family history of it. So 30% is actually pretty high for family history, but it's still low, so it's I'd say very rare, but it can still happen. The appendicitis death rate. So, if the appendix has not ruptured, the complication rate is about 3%. Because none of the stuff that's actually might come out of appendicitis from rupturedness will actually not be in there. So if you have a unruptured one, it's about 3% because none of the dangerous stuff has leaked yet. But if the appendix has ruptured, the complication rate rises to almost 59%. So this right now beats that by at least like over 52, like 50 to 53%. Beats this over that much than pancreatitis. So appendicitis is more that, pancreatitis is more that like daily chronic pain that lasts long, which won't cause problems. But appendicitis is one that, comes on quickly and can kill you pretty quickly if untreated. Appendicitis, again, can actually lead to a surgery thing because it will lead to a ruptured, and you need to get surgery to get that pear taken out and get you all paired up so you don't get sepsis or a inflammation or an infection in your bloodstream or in your brain for that matter. So the appendicitis surgery is actually pretty big. It's like maybe I'm gonna say roughly, in my opinion, not actually from someone who knows what he's talking about, but it's, in my opinion, I'd say $5,000 to $50,000 in my opinion. That's what I'm going to say, because appendicitis is one of those really, really risky ones, especially if it's already ruptured. You don't want to do already more damage than what's done, because that can really kill you. So appendicitis complications. The major complication is a perforation or the rupture of the appendix. This leads to spread of the infection throughout the abdomen. If appendix burst, there may be development of a pocket of pus forming in the abdomen, abscess. Now, if it's not already bad for appendicitis, you can lead to abscess, and that can already lead to death as it is. So, thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share, and make sure to hit that bell notification when you subscribe so you never miss an upload that I do. So remember, guys, stay safe, and remember, most importantly, stay researching. Let's go.